My next guest is finally back in the cage. It's been a long time coming. He's going to be making his PFL debut against Sung Bin Jo at PFL 2021, Event 1. I think I said that correctly. It's Tyler Diamond back here on the program. Tyler, how's it going, man?
It's going great. It's good to be speaking to you, James. It's like the highlight of my day being here in this damn hotel. So,
well, I appreciate that. That's awesome to hear. Before we get into the fight stuff, man, we haven't talked since you became a dad. How's fatherhood treating you?
Oh man, fatherhood's great. I mean, it was quite the adjustment for sure, but we both adjusted quickly, and luckily I have an awesome wife, which definitely helps on my end. I mean, she's understanding. She supports what I do. She sees the vision, and yeah, we make a good team. So, like I said, quite the adjustment, but it's been great.
So I imagine they're back home while you're doing the quarantine stuff, right? Because obviously with PFL, you got to stay quarantined for an extended period of time before you can go fight and all that, right?
Yeah, I mean she's crazy and she wanted to, but logistically there's just no way. Like we had to run our business, so she's there kind of doing that, and just taking care of the baby is hard enough. And for me too, I was like, man, I'll finally get the best sleep of my life. So just go ahead and stay there. I'll take care of business and then come home.
So what have you been doing so far?
Gosh dang, I've really been trying to stay busy, like I try to be productive every single day, and not being at home kind of hinders that, but there's all kinds of stuff that I've needed to do online as far as the business end, like figuring things out where I really didn't have the time to do it before. So I've just been taking advantage of my time, been on the computer a lot, and figuring out things on the back end logistically. And then I've been making sure to get 2 workouts in a day too. But man, when you have this much time, like even 2 workouts, like, you have so much time. So I've just been taking advantage of it and getting my workouts in and just managing my weight correctly and getting my mind right for fight night.
Are you by yourself, or do you have any other members of your team down there too?
I'm 100% by myself. So PFL made the rule like either your cornerman can come out 17 days before or 3 days before. And I didn't even ask my cornerman to come out 17 days before. That's just not even feasible at all. Like, they have families, they have jobs. So I said, hey, just come out 3 days before. I know for me personally, I've done a lot of things, trial and error, and things have worked, things have haven't. But so I'm hoping that PFL the next go around kind of reconsiders like 3 days and maybe makes it like 5 or something, because right now what that's doing is I'm going to have to cut weight by myself as well.
Right. Yeah, that can be tricky.
A lot of people are. I'm not the only one. So I think after this first set of fights, they will revise that, because I think they'll realize like, oh, dang, this isn't the best situation. But I mean, other than that, everything's going great.
What do you know about your opponent here? He's got a 9-1 record. How do you feel like you match up against him here?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I match up against him and everyone else pretty good, to be honest. He's tall, long, pretty crisp striker, pretty decent on the ground as well. I feel like he's good everywhere, and I feel like his best attribute, which is the best attribute to have, is that he has no quit in him, and he'll keep fighting no matter what. And so I like that never give up spirit. I have the same thing. So I think you get 2 guys like that, it makes for a great fight. But overall, I just think I'm better everywhere. So I'm confident, and I'm going to go in there and just try and take the fight to him.
Because of being with PFL and obviously the pandemic as well, we haven't seen you fight in a long time, like I mentioned at the top. Is there anything in particular that you feel you've improved on, or is it just generally, do you feel like you've improved in all areas?
Yeah, I would say all areas for sure. I think the biggest improvement I've made is just, obviously I'm older, I've matured, I've been through some fights where I had a lot of growth. So I think the biggest thing I've worked on is my fight IQ. Like when I spar now, I'm not just focused on like winning the rounds and beating the crap out of people. I'm really trying to be calculated. I'm trying to make reads. I'm trying to adjust within the round better, rather than just like fighting the same fight type of thing. So I think the biggest improvement I would like to think is my fight IQ, which is the best thing, because I'm already pretty polished, so I've just continued to polish everything and make everything better. But I've been hyper focused on being smarter in there.
What type of camp did you have leading into the quarantine? Like, who did you get to work with?
Yeah, so man, COVID really hasn't affected my training at all. Like at Team Alpha Male, we're still full steam ahead. Nothing has thrown us off course. So I got one of the best training camps I've ever had, relatively injury free, which is always great. So, man, it's been good. Got a lot of training in with Andre. Andre Feely matches my opponent like body style really, really well. And then I've gotten a ton of individual work in with Danny Castillo and Joey Rodriguez. So I feel polished and better than ever. You know, if I was to name all my training partners, we'd be here all day. We got so
I
many.
know. Well, I was going to say one I did know you train with. I know a bit of cross training. You got to work with a bit with Lance Palmer. I saw on Instagram. So how was that getting to work with him?
Yeah, so that's currently going on now because Lance used to be on our team and he's here. So that's kind of like the silver lining of this whole thing is that although I came here alone, I got Lance here. So Lance and I have actually been training together, and it's great. It works out awesome. I mean, we used to train together all the time 4 years ago plus, and then now we're here and he's here alone. I'm here alone, so we're training and getting our work in.
I'm sure you've talked about the fact that you guys might fight each other in this tournament, right? Like, how has that been? You know, because again, you're making the most of your situation, but at the same time, you guys might end up fighting each other at some point.
Correct. No, we haven't actually talked about it directly. I think it's just like an unspoken thing between us. Like, we both know that could be the case and the possibility, but we also both know that we're friends. We'll be friends before, we'll be friends after, and we'll just have more money afterwards. And if we have to, it's just business. It's just what we have to do. You know, it's like nothing personal in that sense. So if we have to, I hope it's in the finals. So
right, yeah, no, for sure. And you mentioned the weight cut. How's that going ahead of this fight? I mean, you do run a meal prep company, so I assume you're pretty good when it comes to eating and all that, right? So
totally, it's going great. Being here isn't the most ideal because I now don't get to eat like exactly what I want, so I really have to adjust and I really have to think ahead. I don't like have all my resources just on hand. But the weight cut's going great. This whole camp I was heavier than I normally am, and I think that's just because I haven't made the weight in so long. But that was also a good thing because in some of my past fights, I haven't put the weight on like I should have going in, which is kind of scary going in the cage at 152 pounds, like makes you think, well, fuck, is there something wrong with me? But yeah, I've been heavier this whole fight camp, but right now I'm like right on track. Like weight is never an issue for me.
You mentioned your corner. Who will be making the trip down there the 3 days before to come corner you?
Yeah, it was gonna be Joey Rodriguez and Danny Castillo, but Danny's actually getting ready to have a baby, so he'll be with me my next fight. I got Joey Rodriguez, who I think he's starting to become a household name, Josh Emmett's main boxing coach, a lot of our main boxing coach, Team Alpha Male. And then I got my jiu-jitsu coach, Felipe Braggio, also making the trip out. So I got two solid guys coming out to corner me, and I'm excited about that.
How's this fight playing out on April 23rd?
It's going to play out in a first-round finish on my end. With PFL, like, you get paid double when you win, just like everywhere else, but there's a huge incentive to get the finish, especially now they made it a 4-man tournament instead of an 8. So, like, you could get 2 wins and you could still not make that tournament, depending on the point system. So, dude, I got to freaking get after it. Like, I got to take the fight to this guy, and although I got to circle back to what I said earlier, being smart and tactical, like, I can't force the finish, but when it's there, I really have to take it, and I have to take advantage of my openings, my situations, so that's what I plan on doing.
And not looking past this first fight, but have you taken a look at the roster, sort of who's in the tournament already? Is there a fight you'd like to have, like someone you want to fight, or it's a fight that you think would be interesting?
Yeah, I haven't given it like a crazy crap ton of fight. Like, in fact, I haven't watched anyone else in the brackets, any of their fights, so I don't know. I know everyone that's in it, like I know their names, like know of them, etc. Before this matchup got announced, I was like, man, Bubba Jenkins would be a great fight in the sense that it's just crazy how far ahead he was at me at one time. Like, I mean, he's quite a bit older. Like, he was winning national championships when I was in high school, like right. Wrestling, So it's just pretty incredible, like, how he was here at one time and I was just like this little fucking high schooler, and now I've like totally closed that gap, I feel like, and I feel like I could beat him up, and along with everyone else in the bracket, I mean, they're all freaking tough. But, yeah, I thought that certainly would be an interesting fight. But Lance has got him first round, so Bubba's got his work cut out for him there.
The $1 million. That's why you're doing this. That's what is at the end of the road here. If you won that $1 million, what would you do with the money? I know you've thought about it.
Yeah, I think the first thing I would do is, so me and my wife live in a town of paradise that basically completely got burnt down. So there's just like empty lots everywhere. Right now isn't necessarily the time to buy or build, but we do own one lot. So I'd probably use that. I'd probably invest a lot of the money, to be honest, and I would build our house at the right time, and I would pick up more properties at the right time. And gosh dang, I just hoard that stuff, man. I don't need to spend it. I don't got holes burning through my pocket, so I would just hold on to it and at the right time utilize it into business resources and make more money.
Love it. Mr. Monopoly over here. It's great. Before we go, any Netflix, any video games during this quarantine? I'm sure you got to do some of that just to break up the time a bit, right?
Totally, yeah. So I typically don't get any time to watch TV ever, but I've been taking advantage. I've been watching Yellowstone. Have you seen it?
I've heard of it. I heard it's great. Yeah.
Yeah, I think anyone would really enjoy it. It's an awesome show. I'm almost freaking done with it though. So if you have any suggestions, I need something new after this because I'm like, dang, what the hell am I going to do when I'm done with this Yellowstone?
Okay, well, I'll give you one, and this is just like because I'm Canadian. I always tell people if you haven't seen it, you got to watch it. Have you watched Trailer Park Boys before?
No, never.
Okay, it's very Canadian, but I think like I know a lot of Americans who do watch it. It should be on Netflix if you have Netflix.
Yep.
It's hilarious. So it takes a bit to getting into. Basically, what it is, it's like a fake reality show about some guys who live in a trailer park, and it just like follows them around. But it's really funny. So if you want a good comedy, I'd recommend Trailer Park Boys. And if you do see it, next time we do an interview, we got to talk about it, and I want to hear your thoughts on it because a lot of people that I've talked to have really enjoyed it. So
okay, for sure, I'll definitely give that a shot.
Cool. And I'll definitely be checking this fight out, man. April 23rd, it's PFL 2021 Event 1. Tyler, always appreciate the time, man. Just remind people where they can find you on social media, and if you got any sponsors or shout-outs, I'll give you the last word.
Yeah, thanks, James. Tyler Diamond on all social media. I'm active on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. In fact, I love being active on those platforms. And then definitely got to shout-out my two sponsors for this fight, Sheath Underwear, and then Rod Broker, a local fishing company that's on the rise in my area. So I appreciate both of those guys, and then I certainly appreciate your time today. It's good to break up the day and talk to a familiar face. So I appreciate it.